just finished watching the WandaVision episode 5. And like at first, the first time I watched it, I was like, "Whoa, like he's back." Like and it's like this explains all the multiverse and everything like that, which is like cool, you know? It's like, all right. And it I've been drinking, by the way. So if you don't like people who have been drinking, this is not something you want to listen to. This is for YouTube, not for my podcast. But it's it's kind of crazy, you know, like how everything went and when she came out of that fucking bubble or that hexagon and was like, "Hey, this is the warning that I'm giving y'all. Fuck y'all. This my hometown and I'll fight for it. What up, cuh?" You know, when she came out and said all that, I was like, maybe it is all her. Like, and that's who my dad thinks it is. Like, he thinks it's all Wanda just after the last episode. And maybe he's right. Like, that would be a big twist, right? We're all pointing to these guys, and then you find out it really was her all along. Which maybe that's the case, you know? Like, there's three different guys I've heard it pointed to. I've heard Mephisto, I've heard Nightmare, and I've heard some beekeeper guy that was in the comics. The Hive or something. I don't know. But two of those were by the same person, which was a guy on YouTube called Screen Crush. Excuse me. That was gross. Um but it's like everybody's pointing to like so if it really did come out to be all Wanda all together, like at the end, that would be a big twist. You know, that'd be awesome. Because I heard it leads up into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which is dope. But I also heard two different. I heard Nightmare was supposed to be the bad guy, but the guy quit because he couldn't make it a rated R film. Which Nightmare is supposed to be like the Freddy Krueger of the Marvel Universe, right? From what I understand, that's what I heard. I don't read the comics. I'm not one of these fucking, I'm going to tell you because I read the comics. No, I just like the movies. I've always liked superheroes, and I've always liked, like I've always just been a fan. But I'm not the type that's going to go read a fucking comic just because that's what you do. Or that's where the superheroes are. Because the cartoon, I don't know. Like, I was a cartoon fan, and then, I just like superheroes. They're awesome. I wish I read more comics, though. I'm not going to lie. I'm not trying to diss people who read the comics or whatever, but these seem to go try to twist the comics just a little bit, And it does seem like, I don't know, after she came out of that fucking hexagon, like, she seems to be the one in charge. But at the same time, somebody said Nightmare, and I think that if anybody it is that, or is the bad guy behind it, Nightmare is the guy. Or maybe he's working for Mephisto. That could be a thing. I don't know. I know I'm fucking invested. Like Darcy said, I'm fucking invested. And I like it. It's not like, this is like, every episode is like, like at the end, when I saw the Evan Peters, because I like him more than, I don't know, because I've watched the Ultron movie twice now. Like, since the last episode, I've watched, like, since she said, oh, he was killed by Ultron. I've actually watched it 3 times. If you go for 2 weeks, I've watched it 3 times in the last 2 weeks. He was a good character. Like, when he was running around hitting them, you didn't see that coming, did you? You didn't see that coming. And then when he died, I bet you didn't see that coming. Like, he was a good guy. But at the same time, though, that actor that does him. I'm pretty sure the first time I ever saw him was in a Step Up movie. Or no. Not Step Up, because that was that nerdy, like, dude who was doing all the cool dances and shit. He was in what the fuck was that movie? It was an older movie, the fight movie, the Never Back Down. That's who he was. And then you saw him in some. I never liked the show that everybody likes him for, but I liked Never Back Down because he was that friend, that side friend that, like, he ended up getting his ass beat and whatever. Like, that's a whole nother story. But, like, that's, like, other people like him for that, like, nightmare show or whatever, the ghost show, Amityville horror type of show, or whatever it's called, American Horror Story or whatever. I think that's what it's actually called, I'm not gonna lie. But I like that actor. All the way back to Never Back Down, I like that actor. That's where I like. But when I saw him as Quicksilver, and my favorite X-Men movie of all time, my, like, personally favorite X-Men movie of all time is um uh X-Men Days of Futures Past. I don't care what anybody has. I never saw Dark Phoenix. Maybe that would be my favorite, but you already did that story. The same company did that story. It's like and I heard a lot of people say, "Oh, never what? Like, they need to just dead the Dark Phoenix and da da da, and that they should never bring her back and try to do that story." I think Marvel could do that story. You guys can go, like, anybody who thinks that way can go fuck themselves, because that's not the way to go. Like, oh, they should never do Dark Phoenix ever and try to, like, manipulate, turn it into a show or a real life movie. No, Fox by itself should never do that. A real big fan of the Dark Phoenix could make it work, and it should be more than just one movie. Marvel has a way of building it up. So I feel like if everything goes right with this Galactus series, because that's what they're saying that this one's going to lead into, Galactus and Doctor Doom. I feel like after that, if they were, like, willing to still go and they still have the fan base, I feel like that's when you introduce the Dark Phoenix fucking series. And they're just starting to introduce X-Men and all this stuff, so it will work out, you know? Maybe I'm completely dumb. Maybe I'm the guy who, whatever, oh, he didn't read comics. But no, it's like, you have to give it time. You do have to give it time before you try another Dark Phoenix. 10 years is enough time. I don't remember 10, like, really stop and think back to the first Spider-Man movie, which I think was 2001. 19 years ago. Like, you could, like, they've made stop and think back to the Amazing Spider-Man compared to Homecoming. That was like an 8-year time difference. Like, there's a way to get it to work. But the thing is, though, is the way to get the Dark Phoenix to work, I feel like, is just don't make it a complete X-Men story. Make it a complete Marvel story. And that's how you get it done. You do these little TV shows, you do these little whatever, and you just regardless. Like, hold on 1 second. But no, okay, I'm back. My whole point for this entire video, I don't know where I was going. I was just, like, riffing or off of whatever. But my whole point that really came to me, like, on my second view of watching this episode, right? I'm not one that looks for the things in the background or anything like that. But how did, like, if you want to find a plot hole, how did Monica Rambeau know that Wanda had a chance to defeat Thanos? If you really think about it. Because she was freaking out if you saw her wake up the first episode. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for plot holes and, like, shit that whatever. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I shouldn't do that. But how did she know that Wanda had a chance to defeat Thanos? And then dude was like, "Oh, well, I think Captain Marvel had a chance." And but like she was just coming back. You saw her freaking out. What do you think? She just left there and was like, "Oh, hey, there's a fight going on out here," and like bought tickets? No. How did she know that? That's one thing that I'm not liking. I don't like that. But I can be persuaded and I can see how she knew that she had a chance. But remember, she was blipped. If you just came back from being blipped and you were freaking out the way they showed her in the last episode, would you really how for one, they didn't have it televised. There weren't cameras flying around showing what's going on. How did she know that Wanda almost killed Thanos or had a chance to kill Thanos? My biggest question. I will leave it at that. Goodbye.